Hey Yoke, what is up and right with my people, the Chico Army, and of course, if you're new around these parts, a lowly viewer of the tube. I'm the host of this channel, Tyler, and it's so good to be back after taking a day off, which means this episode is gonna blow. If you are sleeping, wake up, 'cause it's time for Chico Crypto. Altcoin madness, DeFi madness, alt season, it happened, it's happening right now, or the real one is still to come. Each day, new coins and projects are being added to CoinGecko, and the total number of cryptos is now pushing towards 6K tracked on their website. So alt season has been happening, if you were not aware. Bitcoin dominance since September has been on the downtrend from over 70%, then to under 60% as of yesterday. A dominance percentage loss of 14.2%. And the altcoin leader of alt seasons, Ethereum, has increased its dominance from 7% to 12.25%, a percentage dominance increase of 75% over that same time period. Then, other altcoins, which is all the altcoins out of the top 10 and their market caps combined, that category's dominance has grown from 11% to 14.35%, a dominance growth of 30.5% over the same time period. Remember I said in the beginning, the real alt season might have not begun. Well, that is because we are nothing like the big alt season of the past in 2017 to mid-2018, as Bitcoin dropped off of a cliff, the dominance, and got to a low in the 30% and almost got flipped by Ethereum in 2017 and the others category in 2018. Today we are nothing like that alt season, but in my opinion the stage is being set for another season which will mimic the past, with Ethereum gaining, taking away dominance from Bitcoin, and talks of the flippening will once again shoot into mainstream thought. Why? Well, even though Ethereum is not at its dominance it once was back in 2017, the number of transactions on-chain is reaching levels reached back then. Then, pulling out the chart with Bitcoin transactions added, back then Ethereum also outdid Bitcoin in 2018, a wide gap that closed throughout the rest of the year and into 2019. But since the beginning of this year, that gap between transactions is just as wide or wider than back then. So some people might think I'm crazy, but out of the top two coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would have to hands down pick Ethereum, as it's the better bet for the alt season. It's called alt season and not Bitcoin season for a reason. Unless Ethereum slips up majorly, like with a hack or a major smart contract exploit, and BTC miraculously pushes forward with a scaling solution, Ethereum dominance will grow. So my plan is to stack ETH and accumulate as much as the base layer of DeFi as possible. Ether is money. It's a store of value. It can be stable when used as collateral, and soon with the Beacon chain, it will be stakeable, able to earn passive rewards for securing the network. So Ethereum isn't just a money protocol, it is the DeFi protocol. So Bitcoin over Ethereum out of the top two. But going down the list, that DeFi word, decentralized finance, it's the buzzword of the bull run, and it leads me into my next ones. You gotta know I stay DeFi stinky with that linky. Out of the top 10 coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink are the only three I actually hold. And that is a case of my personal opinion that those are the three best. And I'm sure you know of Chainlink's meteoric rise, going from 45 cents in March of 2019 to over $18 as of yesterday. What is behind the pump? Well, I'm still a little baffled, but this is no pump and dump orchestrated by some 4chaners, but some real big interest in Chainlink actually, from some real big players. Now that doesn't mean it won't dump, as these big players may be playing to manipulate, but things are starting to bubble with Link, and I showed that in my live stream on Wednesday. But making that information in the stream easier to understand, Chainlink was announced to be partnering with Oracle back in 2019, where 50 qualified startups in collaboration with Oracle and Link would be deploying Link nodes, from the Oracle blog post on the topic. The Oracle for Startups team will work with selected startups to launch Chainlink nodes in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which will be available for integration with Oracle Blockchain Platform smart contracts via Chainlink middleware. From the learnings, we can generate best practices for developing smart contracts that integrate to Chainlink that will benefit the ecosystem. Now, scrolling down, we can see the startups selected in October of 2019, and the number one important one we want to focus on is Constellation. They are a known blockchain project who is in collaboration with Chainlink. They put out a paper explaining how big data would be oracleized with the two. Now, going to the objectives in this paper, it states two main ones, and number one is Constellation will be an Oracle node operator on the Chainlink platform to enable access to enterprise data. So they're building a node on Chainlink. Let's see if that's happened. Well, going to Chainlink Market, which details all the Chainlink nodes, and searching by Catena, something comes up. Catena Enterprise Grade Node powered by Linkpool, and Catena Node 1, Constellation. Okay, but does that mean the Oracle for Startups program is getting moving? Well, going back to the blog post and down the list, there is one more we need to look into: Northeast. Going to Chainlink Market and searching by Northeast. Of course, there is a node for them. So two of the startups have nodes verified and ready to go. But the more interesting thing besides these two recently added nodes were two more that were recently added, which could relate right back to Oracle. Going to the newest nodes and scrolling down, there is Veritas and A-Verify. Going to A-Verify's website for the node. Not much is said, just smart contracts for smart business. But searching A-Verify in Oracle and Google, something very interesting comes up. Oracle has an A-Verify, spelt the same, and according to Oracle, A-Verify is this: a scripting tool that performs an integrity check against a PLM database and reports on specific errors. A-Verify includes a check for missing indexes and inconsistent data stored in the various database tables. A-Verify only reports errors and does not attempt to fix them or modify. A connection? Well, let's just go to the second node, Veritas. If we go to their website, not much there either. They just say their node is professionally managed and they are an early adopter. But their logo, that V, looks very similar to another V and Veritas company, which is more than connected to Oracle and the Oracle Cloud. Connected? Is the Oracle program kicking into higher gear and about to go full throttle? We will see once more information drops. So Ethereum and Chainlink out of the top coins. What are my top picks in the mid-level? Well, even though this coin is in the mid-level, it's my number one pick for 2020. And I believe in due time, when the vision comes together, this could be a top 10 coin. You know what I'm talking about? Energy Web Chain. Now, over the live stream, I covered some things about EWT2, including the structure of their network and them being their own relay chain, with parachains reserved for localities, including countries. Well, that vision is now being worked on. As we can see within their GitHub is Polkadot, which was only updated 3 days ago. They forked it, and that means the work is beginning. But just above that is another interesting GitHub addition, Rosetta. Now, what is Rosetta? Well, this is from Coinbase. They put out a blog post detailing it. It states, for developers of new blockchain projects, the Rosetta interface makes it easier to ensure compatibility with exchanges that use Rosetta. Well, the only exchanges that use Rosetta right now is Coinbase. And I covered this last week in a video on Coinbase possible new additions. Cadena was one of my top picks to be listed from the Rosetta API website, but also Handshake and possibly Celo down the road. But seeing EWT start to use it, it means a base listing might just be down the road for them too. So those are just a few things which reinforce my mid-cap EWT pick. But what about those lower down on the list? What are my current top picks for low-cap coins? Well, I have more than a few. Some from the Polkadot ecosystem, XOR, Sora Network, Edgeware, Kusama, and more. But today I want to show a new one who's jumped on my radar, Robonomics Network, XRT. It has already been surging. Pulling out the 2-week chart, the coin has gone from around $4 to around $16 as of yesterday. But this is still a really low cap of just 4.5 million. Now remember what I said about Polkadot parachains in the past. They will be limited in the beginning and not everyone will get a slot. And those connected to Polkadot and their players will be in a better position than those who are not connected. Well, Robonomics is in a serious position. Number one, they have already launched a parachain on Kusama, which is the canary network of Polkadot. If you're planning on becoming a parachain on DOT, you better be building on Kusama first, which just last month they did with a testnet launch. But this is the big one. You know who the founder of Polkadot is? Gavin Wood? Now, wouldn't it be crazy if Gavin was contributing to the Robonomics GitHub? Well, he has, as going to their contributors and hovering over the second picture, of course, it's the Gavin Wood. Now that leads some major weight to this project, having a parachain testnet ready to go on Kusama, even the Kusama Twitter tweeting about it, and even the Polkadot founder, Gavin Wood, contributing to the code. Now there are some other Polka ecosystem projects who do not have that, who have a much higher market cap. And the thing about Robonomics, they have been working on this for 5 years and originally built it to be done on Ethereum. In 2016, Robonomics showed off how to control a drone with Ethereum transactions. Pretty damn cool having a drone employee controlled with Ether code, and its path could never be manipulated. Well, with Ethereum scaling, this was not possible, so they switched to a substrate-based model with bandwidth testing on Kusama. And with the parachain launched and ready to be tested, they said this in their blog post about the release. The Robonomics parachain will allow the community to launch industrial manipulators, collect telemetry from sensors, and create routes for autopilot drones using transactions. So it's coming, and quicker than many other Polka-based projects with higher market caps. Is Robonomics undervalued? Well, that is why it's a new pick of mine. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.